Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston S. Churchill. Ender Wiggin showed courage in the book Ender's Game in many different ways, including physically and mentally. He went through numerous challenges in his life, starting with being forced to leave his family at the young age of 6 years old, and never being able to return to Earth, even after defeating the buggers. These grueling challenges required Ender to show his courage and to fight for his family, friends, and everyone else he had left behind on Earth. In Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card, Ender Wiggin is the most courageous character. One of Ender's most difficult challenges was leaving his family. At the age of 6 years old, he was pulled from his family, forced by the IF to commence his training in battle school. Before he left, he lived with his family on Earth. Andrew Wiggin, otherwise known as Ender, is a very noteworthy child. He is a third, human born onto the Earth for the sake of the IF, to be the one to end the bugger war forever. Hey, third, don't answer. Nothing to say. Hey, third, we're talking to you. Third, hey, bugger lover, we're talking to you. Can't think of anything to answer. Anything I say will make it worse. So I will not say anything. Hey, third. Hey, turd. You flunked out, huh? Thought you were better than us? But you lost your little birdie, 30. Got a Band-Aid on your neck? Are you going to let me through? Ender asked. Are we going to let him through? Should we let him through? Being a third brought many troubles to Ender at home and at school. For example, Stilson threatened Ender multiple times in the book, until Ender showed him that he could do it, and he killed him without even realizing it. Also, later in the book, when Ender was present in battle school, he also showed Bonzo that he could do it, and he killed him in addition to Stilson. Ender proved his courage in both of these instances by competing against others that he knew were bigger and stronger than himself. When Ender lived on Earth, he was very close with his sister Valentine, mainly because they battled Peter together. During the times when Peter was in his killing mode, Ender and Valentine clung to each other, relying on each other for their survival against Peter. Ender and Valentine were both aware that Peter was bigger and stronger than both of them, but they continued to fight for their lives. Ender showed enormous courage before he left Earth, when he left Earth, and struggling with being a third. A normal soldier would start in battle school at the age of 6 and advance to command school at the age of 16. Luckily, Ender was not a normal soldier. He started training in battle school at the age of 6, but at the age of 11 years old, Ender advanced to command school. He turned quickly to Bean, took his hand for a moment, and then headed for the door. Wait, said Bean. Where are you going? Tactical, navigational, support, command school, Ender answered. Pre-command? Command, said Ender, and then he was out the door. Anderson followed him closely. Bean grabbed Colonel Graff by the sleeve. Nobody goes to command school until they're 16. Ender's close friend Bean was with Ender when he received the letter saying that he would be transferred to command school. Ender was only 11 years old, and he had already completed his training in battle school. It was a very rare case that someone as young as Ender would already be moving to command school. Throughout Ender's time in command school, he was training with Mazer Rackman, the man who defeated the buggers during the first invasion. Mazer taught Ender many things, all of which helped him defeat the buggers for good. For example, Mazer taught him many strategies while playing the simulator game. Courage is shown in Ender by accepting the fact that he is needed to go back and continue his training in command school. Ender did not originally want to go back to training, but after his talk with Valentine, he was convinced that the fate of the world depended on him. If you try and you lose, then it isn't your fault. But if you don't try and we lose, then it's all your fault. You killed us all. These words came out of Valentine's mouth, helped Ender realize what was at risk with not returning. Ender showed courage by choosing to return to command school and handling the pressure of knowing that the fate of the world depended on him. Ender Wiggin had many strengths and weaknesses, and these changed throughout his life. He showed a great amount of courage in everything he did to make sure that he would stay on top. For instance, academic excellence was a trait that Ender pursued very well. His ability to quickly and efficiently come up with new strategies each and every battle was amazing. Ender could identify what the enemy's performance was, and he could adjust his strategy to make sure he was unbeatable. Ender had the best ranking, a perfect one-loss record, of course, but in the other categories he was far ahead. Average soldiers disabled, average enemy disabled, average time elapsed before victory. In every category he was ranked first. Ender worked hard throughout his time in both battle and command school, and his work paid off with his record. Ender had a perfect record as commander, and his army was by far the best army at the time. The days were on, with battles every day, until at last Ender settled into the routine of the destruction on himself. With Ender's army having battles every day, Ender was starting to lose it. He was tired and he began to have pains in his stomach, but Ender continued to push himself and his army. Ender showed courage by going through with every one of his battles and fighting to make sure he would win. Courage can be displayed in many different ways, including physically, socially, and by an individual or a group. Ender Wiggins' courage in the novel Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card saved every single human that lived on Earth. Without being courageous enough to leave his family when he was 6 years old, then the buggers would still be the enemy. Earth could still have been taken over by the buggers if Ender had not stepped up. Ender was an amazing soldier, toon leader, commander, and teacher to everyone he knew. Ender Wiggin is the most courageous person in Ender's Game, and without his courage, the Earth and all of its people would be in grave danger.